TWM podcast.
I get to start this segment this time. I know, right? Joe sharing the spotlight. The only reason I started is because I was the one that wrote down all the predictions for myself, Joe, and Victoria. Double or nothing, and I can announce that the winner, or should I say winners, was me and Joe. We drew 6 each.
6 each? Wait, how did Victoria do?
Drew. She got 4.
Well, that's not too bad.
So run it down completely. We all got best friends correctly. Only I got Chris Statlander right.
Oh. That's not really Britt Baker was winning that. You know what I mean?
It's that.
Yeah,
no, I get you. We all got Dustin. We all got MJF. Only Joe got 1 point out of 2 possible points for the ladder match, as he said 9th member was winning, and it was obviously Brian Cage. We all got Nyla Rose wrong. Joe got Cody right, and me and Victoria went for Archer. We all got Moxie right, and then it was just me that got the Elite beating the Inner Circle.
That's fair. I'm fairly happy with that. Yeah. I think you should keep those in a Word document, George, because in your house is coming up. In your house is coming up, and afterwards we can add these up, and still got a bit of clout booking for predictions, just a little bit.
See who's the mid-card champion in TWM.
Well, no, there isn't a mid-card. No, exactly. Mid-card. I feel like these are number one contenderships, really. To be honest, Shirley is a very dominant champion, but I am the greatest champion of all time. But I don't want to challenge Shirley again anytime soon. So whoever's better.
I would have beaten Shirley if I wasn't chivalrous.
Well, you shouldn't. Well, stick with me, Brittany, and you're gonna forget all about chivalry. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, let's live to win. Right, AEW. This starts with a segment that I called "In the Year of Our Lord 2020." I don't know if you can read. I just read it. I didn't really put any inflection on it, but you'll get it in a second. The highlight of the Inner Circle pep rally to up their morale after they lost to the Elite. Sorry, I need to actually cover this. AEW post pay per view episode needed to knock it out of the park. Did, but they did a pep rally for the post Stadium Stampede match. But the highlights for me was either Hager's poem or Ortiz giving out very New York gifts.
I think my best 2 highlights for this was them throwing T-shirts at the wrestlers in the crowd, and one person just keep throwing it back in.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was, but we kept doing it. Through genius. I think the other thing as well was Santana's present, where he pulled out the fake Timberlands.
Yes.
And he went, hey, I got you some Timbs. They're fake.
They're fake. Yeah. Just incredible. No, it's just like he handed Ortiz a chopped cheese. A chopped cheese. That's yours, brother. Sure. And then he gave Jericho a picture of Mark Anthony and a card.
Yeah, I think
it's just brilliant. The most New York box of all time. Oh,
love them. I love the Inner Circle. However, what happened afterwards?
Yeah, you know what? You talk about
it. It was just a bit weird.
Okay, fine. I'm glad we agree.
Yeah, I'm just no. I can do this. It was just a bit odd. Jericho references a Monday Night Raw from January 2010 in which Mike Tyson knocked him out, and cost. I believe that he's referencing. I can't think of the match. It's really bugging me. I think it was when he was with Jericho, but I'm not too sure. He references almost to the point of wanting to say Raw, but it happened on a Monday night in January 2010. Yeah. Tyson comes out with his posse, who look like the most makeshift indie wrestlers in the world that have just sort of been given the role to go out and stand out there with Mike Tyson. Specifically the white guy in the white t-shirt.
Yeah.
I think was some famous boxer or MMA. He had black makeup around his eyes.
Yep, that guy. I was going to say, apparently he had some really legit guys out there with him.
He did have a couple. I think he had 2 legit guys. But yeah, and they get into each other's face. Tyson rips off his shirt, and as Joe's put it in his notes, with the same energy as LeVar Ball from Monday Night Raw.
Can't believe you shamelessly stole my joke. But you know what? It is fine. Carry on.
But it's because he had his t-shirt still wrapped around his arm and his waist.
Yeah. No, like, it did have the same energy. It's just like, how... Someone pointed out, how did Jericho not corpse? I'm not sure. Wouldn't you have corpse?
And then there was a little shove from Tyson to Jericho. Jericho with a big shove, and then a bit of a brawl, and then the roster came down, and it was like this is the one thing of the show I didn't like. It was like a B-Tech version of every brawl that WWE have ever done, because
literally, we saw a better version of this brawl on Monday or Tuesday.
Tear apart brawls, I like. I like tear apart brawls. I think they're very good if they're done correctly. This one, not so much.
Like, no one is... Yeah, in the year of our Lord 2020, you don't need a tear-apart brawl with Mike Tyson and Chris Jericho.
53-year-old Mike Tyson and 49-year-old Chris Jericho.
Like, I don't think the ages have got anything to do with it, man. There's a quote that I love.
No, but in the year of 2020 is what I'm...
The year of 2020, but there's a quote that I love, and that is, growing old is not an occupation for the weak.
Yeah, that's a good quote. I like that.
That's and I think that definitely applies to both of the guys here. What I will say is this. If they're building to what we think they're building to, if there's one person who's going to be able to get a workable wrestling match out of Mike Tyson in the year of our Lord 2020, it's Chris Jericho.
He will bump endlessly for that man. I would not put it past him bumping like an absolute trooper for Mike Tyson.
Yep. But it's one thing to do it on the outside, and it's nothing to do it in a match. So I'm really not, like, I do have my misgivings, but what I will say is, if there's one person on God's green earth who is still doing it, who can get a 3-star match out of Mike Tyson, it is Chris Jericho.
That's a bit brutal.
No, like, I mean, 3-star minimum, you know? Like,
fair point.
Yeah. All right. This next segment is called a single thing. And seeing as you've read off my notes already, what is it called? If you say it correctly, I'll give you a cookie.
Say yeah!
My hero. Matt Hardy cycles through gimmicks once again for, like, you know, is it the third time he's done that on AEW TV? Just before his match with the Young Bucks against Private Party and Joey Janela. And Joey Janela at this point is just AEW's version of Owen Hargreaves, isn't he, George?
He is. He is. I like that classic football reference there, Joe. I just refer to these three as frat boys. They're just the frat boys, aren't they? Joey and Private Party. They're just the frat boys that like to party.
Yeah. My favourite thing in life is that Joey Janela's best record is not with Private Party and he's not by himself. It's actually with Sonny Kiss.
Yeah, apparently, I've never really watched him and Sonny Kiss together, but apparently their tag team is, like, on point.
It's a really good tag team. What, the little I've seen of them? Really good. You know?
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, levels.
One thing I'll say interests me about Matt Hardy was the gimmick he chose for this.
Yeah.
Was his 2009, 2010 heel after turning on his brother. Tights choice.
Right. That's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Because I thought he went to Virgin 1, and then they said a few years earlier, so he went to Spot Monkey Hardy.
I can't remember. I just remember seeing in the pin that he was wearing those tights. He was wearing the tights that he wore when they had the Matt Key on the tights.
Ah, yeah. Fair enough. What did you think of the match?
I think the match can be summed up by the absolute gent that is Matt Hardy helping one half of Private Party to the ramp, out of the ring. Like, what a good guy.
Yeah, it's another tag match, it's another innocuous injury. And
considering the fact that them three have been through hell on Sunday, they did well. They did well.
Yeah, on Saturday, like everyone,
Saturday.
all of them. If you think about it, Joey
It
Janela
was
was in a
Sunday.
ladder match. Joey Janela was in a ladder match, and Private Party had a number one contendership match that they lost. Like,
I will comment on that number one contendership tag match.
I've got stuff to say and all. I've got stuff to say and all.
Oh yeah, I probably agree with you on what we're going to say.
Yeah. But at the end, this has got second billing. It really should have got top billing, in my opinion, because of what happened in the end. During the match, the Young Bucks kept brawling with the Butcher and the Blade. After the match, the Butcher and the Blade jump in the ring and just jumped them. Sorry, for lack of a better word.
Yeah,
honestly. And then
looking like 1950s greasers.
Exactly. Well, you love to see it. It's dedication to the gimmick. They are. And then two guys in a pickup truck turn up and save them. I don't know who they are. Who are they, George?
I don't know. I think one of them is called Dax Harwood, and I think the other one's called Cash Wheeler. I think.
Yeah.
Or as we all know them as F.T.R. Formerly known as the Revival.
No, formerly known as the Revival. The artist.
Do you know what F.T.R. stands for?
Fear the Revolt.
No.
Oh, go on then.
It's
educate me.
AEW have released a T-shirt already for the former Revival. It actually means "fuck the rest."
Oh. Well, to be honest, FSU stands for Friends Stand United, but when they reunited as a heel tag team, Eddie Dennis did say, "We are FSU and we are here to fuck shit up." And in my head, I did.
Yeah, no, I actually do think it's Fear the Revolt, but I would much prefer them just go with "fuck the rest."
Of course you are, because because you're a potty mouth. You're a potty mouthed little sin, so aren't you? Let's talk about other news. Super. What is it? What are they called? Super Violence. Super Violent.
Say again.
What's that tag team called? Super Violent. What are Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc?
Yeah, I didn't actually know they had a team name, but Super Violent makes a lot of sense.
Well, I'm going to call them Super Violence from here on out. Super Violence get a shot at the titles for Best Friends, which isn't confusing at all.
Yeah, this was confusing. Why have a number one contenders match on the buy-in of a pay-per-view if you're just going to go, oh wait, hold on, you can just go have a tag title match, and whoever wins this out of a tag team that is third in the no, they're not third.
They'll be third or second in the rankings now, because first in the rankings.
Who did they beat? I'm having a blank.
So wins are weighted against who you beat, right? So Super Violence, they don't have a bad record, but Best Friends
Super Violent aren't even in the top 5.
They're
Super
not.
Violent aren't in the top 5. Best Friends were first, and I know that Private Party was third. Who did Super Violent beat? I'm having a blank.
They beat the first tag team champions, which would shoot them up the rankings very quickly.
You're still not helping me. I'm having a mind blank. I can't think of it.
No, like SCU. They beat SCU.
SCU, that's it. Thank you. Yeah, I think SCU are on the table, but it's just a bit weird that they've had a tag team come from nowhere go and just appear.
Well, we've seen SCU versus the Aryan half of the Elite. So,
I'm not complaining though, because I am very happy to see the British boys doing their thing.
Best Friends versus like I called them, the Aryan half of the Elite is the money match though. So, it'll be a good match next week, but we all know where it's going. I just don't know why they didn't they could maybe they felt it was too much. Maybe because they did advertise this match for this episode. Winners of the match, and maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they did. Or maybe they announced. Maybe they just announced there will be a match on this Dynamite, which will get us titles.
Yeah.
On the next Dynamite. Who knows?
I wouldn't be surprised. It just got a bit confusing.
Anyway, here's a more somber mood for this next bullet point. Britt Baker will be back at All Out.
Joe, you cut out again.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. 3, 2, 1. Britt Baker will be back at All Out.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the wheelchair.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Role model. I like it. It's a shit fun. I like it.
I like the person pushing the what? I'm sorry, carry on.
I'm just going to comment on how much I like the pun of role model. Role
good.
of the wheel.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good.
It's very good. Very good.
Do you think what do you think they do with Britt Baker? If she's back by All Out, do you think that they shoot her straight to the top of the card? I think
yes. Yeah, because she would make a very good heel opponent for Hikaru Shida.
Yes. Like speaking of, we're not going to talk about that. Actually, yeah, why not? Speaking of Hikaru Shida, she gets a squash, and also does Brian Cage, and there's a promo after the Brian Cage one. Do you want to talk about the promo, or let's talk about Shida's match first? What do you make of it?
Which match? Shida's match? Shida's growing on me massively. I was never captivated by Hikaru Shida because nothing to do with her, but it's because the fact that she was number one contender like 6 times but never got anything from it. Now that she had the title match, she won the title. She's class. Like in-ring talent was never disputed anyway, but it's just there's something more captivating about someone that gets an opportunity and takes the opportunity. I don't know why, but runs with it. Yeah, runs with it. That's it.
What did you make of her opponent? Because I just thought she was the counterpart to Way Jose.
Discount counterpart of who?
No Way Jose.
I like that. I like that comparison. I'm gonna agree with you on that one. That is a good comparison, Joe.
No, but like a heel version, a heel No Way Jose would lure somebody into his trap by dancing too much.
Yeah, just dance at me. Come on, and bang. Who is we'll call it like Fandango.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Less colourful.
Yeah, but like with Fandango, it was always just like looked at with disgust. Like, why are you doing that? Like, they don't encourage people to dance with them and then turn. In the de facto main event, because the segment that ended the show wasn't really a wrestling match. We have.
Well, do you want to talk about the promo first?
Oh yeah, the promo, of course. Yeah. What do you want to say? What you got to say?
Well, a couple of things. One, the belt was silver. Where's the gold?
Right.
Come on, it's red and gold. Where's the gold? It was silver. 2, Cody Rhodes still has, in my opinion, the best theme song in professional wrestling. And 3, QT Marshall is what he is. QT. He's a cutie. He was sat hitting on the bunny and getting told off constantly by Brandy Rhodes.
The bunny, the bunny, as in the butcher, the blind, and the bunny.
That one. Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Ali. He was fat flexing. Ali was proper getting pally with him, even though her boyfriend is the butcher. I think the blade. The bald one. And then QT Marshall just getting told off by Brandy constantly because Cody was talking. I just love Brandy. I love that Brandy's like, shut up, he's talking, listen.
No, like, I just imagine QT Marshall was just leaning on the barricade, looking at Ali.
Just flexing.
And I know this.
It was entertaining, but the big news coming from Cody Rhodes was that he was very honest. He was very human, and that's one thing I really like about Cody is he's never been considered entitled because he's a second generation star. His family is wrestling, but he's always worked for what he got. He is the EVP or one of the EVPs of AEW, but he's still got to grind to get where he is now, to be TNT champion. And he said that Dustin got all of Dusty's traits and all the wrestling ability. He had to work on it himself. He got put into a ring at 21 years old, barely knowing how to run the rope, and announced that the AEW TNT Championship will be an open challenge week. So we're going to get a John Cena US title open challenge style thing, which is going to be so good.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Taz's.
So good.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Taz's promo? Or do you want to go straight into the first answer of that open challenge?
We'll talk about Taz's promo of him putting John Moxley on notice because that Fight Effect.
Whenever that is.
John Moxley. Whenever that is. It was meant to be in London.
Yeah, I was going to say, how sad does that make you?
Very.
Oh, like, honestly.
Very sad.
Like, you know, we're going through enough. Like they should have just kept it to themselves. You know?
Actually, Joe, do you know what? I'll ask you whilst you're here.
Go on.
How did you react / feel when that 9th person was announced to be Brian Cage?
I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. Of course it is.
See, my response was, I forgot about him.
No, because the period when he was written off Impact was the period when Matty was making me watch it, because it was the period when Matty wanted me to be the host of Best of the Rest. And one of the things that was required from the host of Best of the Rest was to write and make notes about Impact. So the period he was written off was that, and the speculation at the time was that he was going to AEW. However, he got injured, and a bunch of stuff came up. Like I did the Double or Nothing review. You can check that out on twm.news and everywhere where you get good podcasts. And I mentioned it. News filtered out about Brian Cage. He has been signed from that moment, essentially. The moment that Impact wrote him off, they signed him, even though he was injured, and they paid him for the time he was on the show. So
Tony Khan is a beautiful human being.
So that is,
and Cody and the Bucks and Brandy.
Yeah, like that is definitely a point in their column. That is, they didn't need to do that. That's pretty incredible. And
but again, Cage he's a good wrestler. He's got the physique that makes Vince McMahon go wild.
Yeah,
but
wow.
So he's never the mouthpiece. And having someone like Taz who can talk for days, it's a good combination.
And it's a good callback because Taz was introduced as an absolute monster by somebody who was selling him as an absolute monster. It's wonderful continuity.
Yeah, I love it. But we'll be seeing Brian Cage at some point go one-on-one with the AEW World Heavyweight Champion John Moxley at a Fighter Fest somewhere down the road.
Yeah, and it's difficult because Fighter Fest was always linked to fighting games, and it was meant to be a fighting games tournament, and that's clearly not going to be happening because it's Lord knows gamers' hygiene is bad at the worst of times. Anyway,
that's a bit harsh.
Yeah, I know. I'm about to get cancelled. Oh no. I'd like to preface this by saying I'm very, very much looking forward to all of the Pokemon DLC coming out. But we have the first person who's going to answer Cody's open challenge starting next week because Jungle Boy won the Battle Royal.
Jungle Boy Jack Perry. I'm joking.
Yeah, it's just like as JR insists on calling him. I feel like it's because JR one time sat down with Jungle Boy and said, I think you should go by Jack Perry. Jack Perry, and he was like, nah. So now he just insists on doing it. It's just like, stop trying to make fetch happen. All right? JR, just stop trying to make fetch happen.
I mean, I really liked the Battle Royal. There was some interesting spots in it, and one thing I always forget, and I think it's not just me, I think every wrestling fan forgets, how bloody tall and big Billy Gunn is. He stood eye to eye, or horn to eye is how they actually build it, with Luchasaurus. And Luchasaurus is a big dude.
Like, my favourite thing is, I don't think I ever forget how big Billy Gunn is. I just remember how big everyone else around him was. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I suppose. Like, yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Like, if you ran into Dolph Ziggler in a bar, and he's considered one of the smaller guys in WWE, you'd probably be like, you don't really want to mess with him. Like, just, like, if you didn't know who he was, you look him up and down, you'd be like, yeah, that's not a guy you want to fight with. Dolph Ziggler.
Then you see Billy Gunn.
And then you see, like, that's what I mean. But, like, I'm saying us watching so much wrestling has skewed our perception of what a big guy is.
And he's 6'4". I didn't even realise that. He's only a couple of inches taller than me. He looks like 6'8" on TV.
Exactly. But it's also the nature of the way that wrestling has gone. Wrestling is, especially AEW, they generally signed smaller, more guys known for work rate. Because, well, that's just what wrestling is in 2020, and that's the style that the people at the top liked. So that's what they. But so somebody like Billy Gunn is going to look like an absolute monster,
and a wrestling dinosaur.
Exactly. Like, meanwhile, if you compare to the battle royals that he was doing in WWF in the late 90s, early 2000s, he is about the same size as everyone else. Vince really likes giants.
Yeah, but it was like this battle royal gave us some interesting stories and feuds down the road. We got a face-off between Wardlow and Luchasaurus, which is a match that I would love to see. We got the cracks being formed between Wardlow and MJF. And how excited are you, Joe, to see MJF without a bodyguard and him shit himself every 5 seconds?
He'll just literally pay a lot of money to the butcher and the blade of the body, and they'll just follow him everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets about that. MJF actually has his own faction if he's willing to pay for it.
Well, he doesn't really. He has a Wardlow and then he pays the other two.
Well, not too bad. And like, I think that's where the Sean Spears thing is going, really.
Yeah, see, I said this a while ago when they were saying about Sean Spears getting a tag partner. I would love to see Sean Spears and MJF as a tag team because they've got a good dynamic together when they've been seen in the crowd.
Will that translate to wrestling chemistry? We shall see.
Always.
There's one more thing I want to talk about with AEW this week, and that's the fact that there were HBO logos all over the ring. What do you make of that?
Make of that as you will.
Yeah, and I don't know. Did you watch Being the Elite this week, George?
Is it episode 205?
Might be.
No, I haven't watched it yet. I saw it advertised and I was like, I'm going to watch this, and I forgot.
You want a spoiler for it?
Yeah, go
on. Mighty Skull popped up at the end.
The thing is, he's not going to join AEW because
I'm just telling you, he pops up at the end. I don't know how serious they are, but he pops up at the end. Are you excited?
Yes, I am, but he's head booker of ROH.
Stranger things have happened. This is 2020, fam.